But first, the former Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra is among 100 or so politicians summoned to a meeting with the military junta following Thursday's coup. 155 people, including Yingluck, have also been banned from leaving the country. Now, the coup, which followed months of political protest, has been widely condemned by the international community. Scott Heidler sent this report from Bangkok.
Once the stage for the anti-government movement in Bangkok taken down and removed the morning after the military coup. The protesters left Thursday night most felt that their effort of more than 6 months paid off because of their goal of removing the current government had been reached. Ratchanuk, who goes by one name, went to work as normal on Friday. She's relieved the army is in control.
Personally, I support coup d'etat. If the army didn't do it, the country would turn into a real mess. No one is ready to compromise in order to make the situation better.
This is the Army Assembly Hall, where more than 100 people from both sides of the political divide have been summoned by the military rulers to discuss the situation. And it's one of few spots in Bangkok where it actually looks like a coup has taken place. One of those summoned to the talks, former Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. She and another 154 people have been banned by the army from traveling outside of Thailand. Long Yim Yem supports the government and feels betrayed by the army. She was outside the compound where the talks were being held, showing her support for Yingluck.
Because she is the only woman who was elected by the people. We want her to be the Prime Minister again, and we want to support her to fight for the people.
The streets of Bangkok appear to be normal. But with detentions, travel bans, control over the media, and the constitution suspended, there is no question that the army is in control. Yet military leaders have given no answers as to when the country will once again be ruled by civilians or returned to being a democracy. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
Let's go to another of our correspondents now in Bangkok, Veronica Pedroza, who's out on the streets of Bangkok a few hours before the curfew kicks in. And Veronica, it's an indication from what I can see behind you of how polarised Thai society is.
Well, yes, indeed. Martine, just a few hours ago, there seemed to be a spontaneous outpouring of protest against the imposition of military rule in Thailand. We saw maybe a couple of hundred people holding makeshift signs, lighting candles at this main intersection in Bangkok next to the MBK shopping mall, which the millions of tourists who come to Bangkok are going to be familiar with. It's a very major tourist attraction, shopping centre. At that point, police and soldiers gathered about 100 meters from where I am. That's why there's an ambulance behind me, and they are still there. Most of the protesters have left, but it was an interesting test of what military rule could mean for Thais, because the letter of the law says that gatherings of more than 5 people are not allowed. Did the police and soldiers arrest all of them? There were a couple of people who were taken away, dragged away in military police vehicles, but it goes to show that not everyone agrees with General Prayuth Chan-o-cha when he says that this is to impose peace and order, bring peace and order, stability to society. They would rather protest against the way it's being brought in.
And everybody must be awaiting this roadmap, a timetable, a schedule for elections and a return to democratic rule.
They have been, the military that is, have been very careful not to set any deadlines at this point. Very interestingly, I spoke to a retired general. He's the former Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. He is also a former senator, so he's very familiar with the military's role in Thai politics. And he was saying it seemed to him that this was not a well-planned takeover, and that he knows General Prayuth, and that General Prayuth probably did not want to take power, but he felt that he really had to. He was 4 months away from retirement, but General Prayuth is now in it for at least a year or two. So that seems to indicate that for this to really work, it's going to take a year or two. That's according to that person. But the military itself, who are in control, have simply said, we will be here for as long as it takes.
All right, for now, Veronica, thank you very much. Veronica Pedreira on some very interesting times in Thailand today. Now, 5 suicides.